Hello, welcome to our online class. I want to believe that we have all received the notes in hard copy and copied them to our notebooks. So I want to believe you all ready for the explanations. In case you do not have these notes, in case you've not copied the notes, you can access them from our Google Classroom, or you access them from my personal website, that is www.ubisoft.tech.tk, or just in case you can email me at ubisoft@gmail.com. Today we are getting introduced to topic 6 of our syllabus, and this is computer software. The objectives of this topic, I want to believe by the end of this topic, we must be in position to understand the following. 1. You should be able to define and have a clear understanding of what software is. You should be able to define software and have a clear understanding in yourself of what software is. 2. You should be able to draw a structure, a clear structure of the software flow, how software flows from software itself, how it is categorized, and so on. 3, you should be able to categorize computer software. We all know it is categorized into 2 basic categories, that is system software and application software. 4, you should understand what system software is and how it is categorized. That is 1, operating system, 2, utility programs, and the programming languages. 3, number 6, you should be able to understand what application software is and how it is categorized. That is to say, you should understand what custom software is and off-the-shelf software is. That is, by the end of this topic, you should be able to understand all those concepts. Yes, hello, we are getting to the explanations as to our computer software, part 1. I sent you notes that you're supposed to copy to your notebooks, and here I am to explain the concepts that we copied down into our notebooks. The basic is introduction to computer software. As per our objectives, we need to define, we need to understand, we need to define software. We need to define software. Unlike the computer hardware, which is defined as the physical and the tangible components of a computer, some students tend to define software as the intangible components. This is wrong. This is not correct. We define software as instructions. 1, software instructions. Okay. Software can be programs. Software can be programs. Together. Therefore, we come up with a definition. Come up with a definition as software is defined as a series of instructions, that control the general functioning, all operation of the computer hardware or the computer hardware. Yes, that is the definition. We define software as a series of instructions. instructions. And their role, their function, or their aim, what they do is to control. They do control the general functioning of the computer hardware. Okay? We go ahead and look at the structure. We need to understand that software cannot be physically touched. It is not physical, so you cannot touch it. There are instructions that are compiled together to form a program. We need to look at the structure. We need to look at the structure. The structure of software. Basically, we start generally with a very big term, software. Software is broadly categorized into two types. So we broadly categorize software into two main types. And that is what we call, one, we have the system software, and then the application software. So from the big term software, we categorized it into two main types of software. One is the system software, and the two is the application software. So if we are to get the system software, then the system software is then subcategorized into three main components. One is the operating system. Two is the utility programs. And lastly, we have the programming languages. Yes, now we look at operating system. Operating system in details. From our definition, the operating system is a system software. We define the operating system as a system software that manages and coordinates computer hardware, software resources, and also provides common service. Common services to the computer system. Okay, that makes a definition. First of all, we define this as a system software, not just like any other software. Don't define it as any other software. You be specific and define it as a system software that manages and coordinates computer hardware, software resources, and also provides other common services, as we shall see. Remember, I told you last time that if you have a computer installed, without the operating system, the computer will be as good as nothing. Now we look at the examples of the operating system. look at the examples of operating system. The examples of the operating system. Examples of OS. One, we have the Windows OS. Windows OS has a number of operating system versions that has been produced by Microsoft ever since, among which include the MS-DOS, the very first one. We have the Windows 98. We have Windows 2000, what you call the Windows Millennium. We have the Windows XP. We have the Windows XP, which was also made in two different service packs. We had Service Pack 1. We had Service Pack 1, Service Pack 2, Service Pack 3, but all these were under Windows XP. We also have Windows 7, which is actually used by most of you. You find that a number of users tend to use the Windows 7 operating system. We have the Windows 8, and Windows 8.1. Yes, this one is a version, is a latest version compared to this, but they all have almost the same interface. Then we have Windows 10. We have Windows 10, the latest that so far it has been confirmed is Windows 10. And we find that at least a number of users these days are also using Windows 10 on the operating system. So other examples of operating system include we have the Linux. We have the Linux. Linux is an operating system which was initially developed for command line interface. We have the Unix. We have the NetWare. This is basically for networked computers. And then we have the Mac OS. That is for the Mac computers. From the examples of the operating system, we now go to the functions. We now look at the functions. Of the operating system. We now look at the functions of the operating system. One, we have resource management. Resource management. We all know it very well that for a computer to process, for a computer to function, it has a number of resources that accompanies its functionality. Among them include the random access memory, the CPU, and very many others. So it is the operating system that manages these resources. It identifies which task is to be given a resource at what time. Number two is data management. Data management. The operating system governs data that is being input and output from the computer system. Number three is task management. Task management. The operating system prepares, schedules, and controls all tasks that are being performed within the computer. As we all know it very well, the computer performs a number of tasks at a given time. So it is the operating system to know which task should be handled first, and then which one should be handled next. Number 4 is provision of user interface. Provision of user interface. The operating system provides the user interface. You find that we have the graphical user interface and the command line interface. So it depends. It is the operating system that provides that interface. It's the one that provides the menu. It provides number 5. Number 5 is memory management. Memory management. It is the operating system that controls how memory is accessed by different programs. It is the operating system. For example, if you are playing music, if you are typing some content, some document, if you are maybe editing a video, all this is being run by one processor. So it will be the operating system to decide which memory will this process take, which memory will this process take, and which memory will this process take. Okay. Number 6 is file management. It is with the operating system that a file can be created. You can choose the location. You can create different locations of this file. So that means without the operating system, you cannot create a file, and you cannot tell the location of a file in the computer. Number 7, input and output management. Input-output management. It is still the operating system that manages the input devices and the output devices. Since we know input and output are one of the basic functions of the computer. A computer must input and must do the outputting. So without the operating system, you cannot tell what a computer inputs and what it outputs. Neither can you connect input or output devices on a computer. Number 8, we have the boot management. Boot management. Booting refers to the process of starting or restarting a computer system. Obviously, you cannot boot, you cannot start a computer system and it boots successfully without the operating system. So if you do not have the operating system, you cannot boot the computer and it completes successfully. Therefore, in summary, we look at our 8 basic functions of the operating system, which include resource management, data management, task management, provision of user interface, memory management, file management, input-output management, and then lastly, the boot management. Thank you. This is the end of part 1. Next time, we shall be looking at the various types. We shall be looking at the various types of the operating system. Thank you for watching. God bless you.